Welcome to my channel. I am Amy King, the visionary of Hey Single Ladies Ministries, and I want you to tune in because I'm going to give you 3 reasons why, if you have been single for over 10 years, why the Hey Single Ladies Ministries is good for you. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. There, and thank you for tuning in. I am Amy King, and I am the visionary of Hey Single Ladies Ministries. Now listen, there's several singles ministries. There's several online platforms that help singles to pray for their future mate. But Hey Single Ladies, we're a little bit different. I am here shepherding and helping single ladies all across the world, whether you're in the United States, Japan, India, wherever you are, Brazil, Honduras, complete their fulfilling as a single in this world. You know, being single has a purpose. But I want to get straight into it. I want to get straight into this video. And I want to give you 3 reasons why you should become a part of this tribe. First of all, this video is dedicated to single ladies that have been single for over 10 years. Yes, over 10 years. That is a decade. That is a long time. Oh my goodness. Come on. That means that you've seen your friends get married. That means that most likely everyone that you know around you could possibly be married with kids. And that's not the case for you. Well, I'm here to let you know that the single ladies community, that we are a ministry or a community that's full of single women that's not bitter, but we are single women that have these unique situations, this calling of singleness on our lives. And I'm here to give you 3 reasons why, if you have been single for over 10 years, that this is the right place for you to be. Number 1, I can relate to you. I have been single for almost 10 years. I am coming up very quickly on my 10-year mark. And people ask me, how did you start this count of your singleness? When did that start? My count started when I officially told the Lord, hey, I'm done with sinning. I'm done with all of this. I'm done with sleeping with all the guys. I'm done with the clubbing. I'm not just the things that I did, but really I want a transformation in my heart. And that's when my mark began. And when I surrendered my life to Christ, that's when my 10-year or my 9-year mark started. So I can relate to you. I'm not just a shepherd. I'm not just this young lady that's coming up on YouTube and I'm like, oh, you should be a part of this, or whatever the case may be. No, I can relate to you. It's so much better when you have two. 2 are better than 1. And it's better when that other person that adds to you, they understand you, they can relate to you, they're in the same boat as you. I know what it is to see. 10 years, 9 years went by like this for me. In a blink of an eye. I remember giving my life to Christ, and then here I am 150 cities later and 10 countries later, and my life it went by in a blink of an eye, and I don't regret it. I've had such a revelatory time getting to know myself in these last 10 years, knowing God. I got to start over in my 10-year journey. Wow. It has been such an amazing journey for me. But ultimately, I can relate to you. I'm not trying to speak to you. Most times in the church, it's the married people that are trying to teach the single people how to be single. And most of the time, most of their advice is like, just focus on the Lord, and it's kind of like that. It suffocates that desire, that desire that you have in your heart. And it's not to say that we shouldn't allow married people to pour in our lives, because they had what it took to get married, whatever that means. They're married, they have something that we desire. So not that we desire, but they are walking in the calling of marriage. And so it's so good to get things from them. But sometimes in the church, most people that are in church have been married since they were 17 or 18. They've never been single. They don't know what it is to walk 10 years by yourself. They don't know that calling. They don't know what it is to watch your life pass by. And that thing that you desire the most is kind of like so distant, like it's never gonna happen. I mean, they don't understand that pain, but they do understand the scriptures. They do understand the calling of the Lord, and they do have a lot to offer. So we're not. I'm not saying to deny them that ability to pour into your life because they have a lot of things, but can they sympathize or be empathetic to that heartache, that desperation? I don't think so, and I can't. But I also know what it is to take that desperation and to surrender it to the Lord. And that's what Hey Single Ladies is about. Surrendering that desperation for marriage and kids and giving it to God and trusting in his timing. And that's what would happen if you join the Hey Single Ladies Ministries. And then also, my point one kind of went into my point two. At Hey Single Ladies Ministries, I can identify with the hope that has been deferred, meaning that hope that you have that has never been brought to pass of being married and having kids, or you have kids but you're not married. That hope that all these years have went by and it has been deferred and your heart is sick. It's sick. It hasn't been fulfilled. And I want to read something from one of the books that I've been reading. This video is a little bit longer than I expected, but I think it's totally worth it. Um, yeah, the hope deferred make the heart sick, and wow, that it puts you in a place of grief when your heart is sick. All your desires, it almost feels like God has forgotten about you in this area, and I've seen that. I've witnessed that in my walk in the Lord and walking with when I was younger, seeing older Christian women that had been waiting for marriage. They were like 25 years, waiting for the Lord, and 25 years standing on the promises of God that, hey, you're going to get married. And, here they are, 45, 50, and no man in sight. No, not one. And I've seen the longing. I've seen the grief. I've seen that. And, at this ministry, I don't have time to talk about it now, but that's something I will address. This ministry is real, it's transparent, and I'm open. I'm open to recognizing the pain in the waiting. I'm open to recognizing God's plan in the waiting. And that's what I plan on discussing in this ministry. Yeah. So that's one thing. It's a hope deferred. So pretty much hope, Proverbs 13 and 12 says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. When unchanged circumstances go on for so long, they can literally make you feel sick about your season. Now, I know that there are many contented singles, so that chapter won't apply, but if you're not contented, like if you've been waiting over 10 years and you have not yet surrendered, you're not content. You're like, no, I want my husband. This has been too long. I feel forgotten about. That your hope is deferred. And you feel like you can't go on another day, week, month, year, or even another decade as a single. You can feel let down. You can feel let down. And I've been there before. I have felt let down. I have been joined all the prayer calls. I did all the fasting. I did all of that. And then I would see that nothing was really happening. Like I did not get married. And I felt let down. That's a hope deferred. And so when hope deferred, you give up easily. You begin to hang your head. You begin to mope. And instead of embracing the joy that God has given unto us. And I read that from Tony Evans' Kingdom Singles. But that chapter really touched me. But yeah, I know what it feels. I know those exact words, and I know that longing, and I know what it feels like. I did the praying. I did it. I put my heart on the Lord. Where's my husband? 10 years, right? But it was, for me, maybe like my 5-year mark. God gave me a key and turned my life around. And that's what I share in this ministry. And then we're going to move on to tip number 3, which is realizing God's will and how to teach you how to surrender. Like I said, if you have been going on and on for over 10 years and you see that God, you have not yet received the promise of marriage, or if you have kids and you have not received the promise of marriage, or you've never been married and you haven't been married or received kids, and it's been over 10 years, I want to help you realize God's will. I want to help you realize that sometimes it's not the devil, it's not this, it's not that. It could be God putting a barrier right there so that you would really surrender to his will and purpose for your life. And I want to help you because I surrendered. And it wasn't easy. I remember that experience. But it's one of the best decisions I made in my life after accepting Christ, was surrendering marriage, the longing for marriage and kids to Jesus, and trusting his timing. And so I want to give you those principles to navigate through the kingdom, to help you understand God's will for your life, and definitely how to understand God's purpose for singleness. It's not so bad after all. So I thank you for joining. Just to recap, I went over 3 reasons why you should join the Hey Single Ladies Ministries if you have been waiting for the promise of marriage and children for over 10 years. I said that first, number 1, I can relate to you. Number 2, I hope deferred makes the heart sick. And number 3, by joining this ministry, I can help you surrender, show you what that means, and also show you what it is, how to navigate through God's treasure of singleness. Hey, until next time, I thank you. And remember that God has a purpose for your single season. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like me on Facebook, Hey Single Ladies Ministries on Facebook. That's how you can join this ministry. Or you can join on Instagram, Hey Single Lady, on all platforms, Hey Single Ladies. Thank you once again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.